It's been a building that's been an icon around here for a long time.
It was one of the first big screens, and so it was really thrilling to come here and see the epic movies.
And I remember quite fondly, we'd specifically come to this theater at least once or twice a week.
I think the theaters that were built this way represent a way that we were in this country that no longer exists. It was a period when people gathered for entertainment in a very different way than we gather today. The costs were minimal to attend, and the environment in which we attended was beautiful. We felt good when we entered the theater. It wasn't a commercial feel, it was going out. You went on a date to one of these theaters, and you were going on a date.
Several of us came here and picketed. You know, and we had our big signs, honk if you want to save the villa.
There were kids, there were older people that came by, and we had banners and plaques and honking, and we had people stop. They brought photographs of their memories of the Villa Theater.
It just showed how much interest there was in actually saving it because people had such fond memories of the place.
I came for the last showing of the two towers and stayed through to when they turned off the lights. It was sad seeing the theater close, not knowing what was going to happen after that.
It just became an empty building. And then it was put up for sale, and there were really no one interested in buying it to return it to a theater or to preserve it as the building. I think that it was more to be a space for a big box store.
When we heard this is happening, we came into the picture. Once the community heard about this news that we are buying it, I had to do some explanation. I am buying this to preserve the landmark. I cannot run a theater. The people who were involved with it couldn't keep it open because financially it was not feasible. So I had to make sure that public understands that I will not be able to show movies in this theater anymore. And I felt they were featuring one form of art for many decades, and I'm going to preserve the building and hopefully feature another form of art. I come from a family that, you know, we are very traditional families. Heritage plays a big role in our lives. My father, from where he's making his rugs, from his hometown, there are some of these patterns that goes well over 1,000 years back. When I heard that Villa Theater and it being a part of heritage, a part of the history of this community. How can it just one day close and they say the next thing is demolition? For me, it was very hard to digest that.
Dr. Hamid and I have some mutual friends, and I've actually bought a number of rugs from him over the years. A lot of it was a collaboration with Dr. Hamid as we would sit down and kind of look at his needs for his store and for his facilities.
I was approached by Dr. Hamid several months back, and I was born and raised around here, watched several movies in here, so I was very interested in working on this building. The actual work started about 4 months ago. We started demolition in small areas. We took out as little as we absolutely had to. We're trying to preserve as much as we can.
The front will pretty much stay as a theater. So that's one of our projects that is going to happen. The sign itself has been here right from the beginning. People remember the building because of this magnificent sign. But you can see it needs a huge amount of work. And so from the neons that are missing to the center part of it, The electrical work on it has to completely be redone. The range has been in the $30,000 to $70,000 range to just do the sign. Well, let's go in and let me show you what we're gonna do there. When we took over this place, we took over a broken up box. Everything that was sellable, it had been sold. The floors, of course, they were in tiers. For us to make it reusable, but at the same time preserve the integrity of the theater, we wanted to create bigger tiers, but at the same time, we had to make sure all of them are in curves. Now, if I was going to fill in everything and attach this area to the stage, it would have been 1/3 expensive than what it is now. However, we wanted to make sure that the feel of it stays as a theater. So we have created this basically subspaces that are going to be used for displays. If someday they plan to make this a theater, they can open up these floors and they're back to the very original.
The structure that is worthy of preservation doesn't have to be preserved to repeat the original function if you retain the message of the original structure within your new function. And so Dr. Adib's idea to restore it and bring it back to life, to revive it in a new incarnation, is the most wonderful thing you can do for retaining the past. Retain the past and pull it into the present.
The economics just don't work, I'm sorry. You know, it would be wonderful to save every theater that was ever built. But we've seen the free market economy at work. It hasn't happened. It is not going to happen. So if we can get half a loaf of the bread, then let's settle for half a loaf of the bread.
Not a single person so far has approached us that hasn't been supportive. When they come in to say, to express their feeling, I felt very even embarrassed, and that I wish I could do more than what I'm doing.
You know, when this is done and this is reopened, what is your hope as the architect? What do you hope people get out of it?
I hope they can walk in here and realize that they don't have to demolition a building to make it work for their current needs.
They may not agree with what's going on and how it's been preserved, but I think in the long run, at least this building that meant so much to so many people will still be standing and it'll be useful.
I think it's important to keep buildings like this around because it is a part of history, and you know, maybe someday this can return to be a theater. If not, at least it's here and we can come and remember what it was like.
It's not the monetary value, it is something beyond that, and that is preserving a piece of history, preserving heritage, preserving fantastic, beautiful memories that hundreds of thousands of people shared in that theater. Those are things that are value-wise way up there. To be able to be in that position, to do such a work, makes me feel good and makes me proud.